This is you showing up to a group ride. You show up to that ride with a finite amount of energy. So if it's a 3-hour ride and you've got 2 hours energy, what now? Hi, I'm Jack from In Guy's Life, and just bringing you a channel update. So if you're a subscriber to this channel, you've probably seen our video, how to buy a bike. And we really appreciate the great feedback and the comments we're getting. That was a tough video to make, and we're glad it's working out. Here's the thing, we don't want to just help you buy a bike. We want you to ride that bike better than you've ever ridden a bike before, to have better endurance, speed, and power riding a bike. So you can kind of think of this as how to ride a bike. When you show up at a ride, you've got kind of a finite potential for energy. You can think of it as your book of matches. So when you're just riding along in a group, you're slow burning a match. Your matches are going a little bit further because you're just using less energy to sit in and ride with the pack. Well, what happens when there's a little bit of gravity, right? There's a punchy hill you gotta go up. Well, you gotta burn a match. Maybe you gotta burn a couple matches. If you run out of matches before the end of the ride, you're in a precarious situation. Your energy's down, you don't have what it takes to hang with the group, and you could potentially get off the back. Nobody wants that. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to show up at the ride with a bigger book of matches. You need to increase your potential to create energy. And the way you do that, the way you create a bigger match book, is progressive overload. We put a load on our body on Monday, and our body recovers from that, and during the recovery it adds a little bit, so in case we do that again, we'll have more energy. You're gonna come back a little bit stronger. That's progressive overload. If you exceed your body's ability to recover, you don't grow your matches. Your book gets smaller and smaller. And it reminds me of a conversation I overheard last year on a group ride. There's this woman, her name's Robin, very strong rider, kind of like a leader type, right? So she's at the front of the group a lot. Anyway, we're riding along. Someone says, "Robin, you're riding so strong." And this was in the spring. And she said, "Yeah, I feel great. I have a lot of energy, but you know what the funny thing is? As the year goes on, I tend to slow down." Now that's typical, right? Robin's story is typical. A lot of people have so much fun on these rides and they want to do these group rides over and over, but they're never recovering from the rides. They're putting too much load. They have either too much volume or too much intensity, and they're not able to recover from that. So instead of their match book getting bigger, having more matches at their dispense, they have less. Their fitness declines the more they do. So you need to figure out a way to put enough load on your body that isn't too much that you can recover from. And the way you do that, one of the ways you do that, is by monitoring your heart rate. And a good way, a popular way, a way that is becoming more popular all the time, is Phil Maffetone's method, the Maffetone method. And he determines your maximum heart rate by taking the number 180 and subtracting your age. Well, I'm 54 years old. So what's that come out to, about 126? Well, my heart rate at 126, pedaling along on my bike, is about 15 miles an hour. And that's kind of boring. It's not as fun. You know, like, it's more fun traveling around at 20, where my heart rate's a $150, than traveling around at 15, where my heart rate's a $130, right? Those 20 points and that 5 miles an hour is kind of the difference between just, you know, meandering along and, you know, having some thrills. So, what do? This bike is a SuperSix EVO as well, but it's a Neo. It's an e-road bike. It's got a motor on it. If you have a bike like this that has some assistance, right? You're still pedaling along, you're still going through the motion, you're still working the same cycling muscles, pedaling along, but it's assisting you. It's giving you a boost in speed. So now my 130 heart rate is 20 miles an hour. It's not 15. So I'm having the same amount of fun, but I'm not putting the same load on my body, and I'm able to recover from it. And what's happened is I grew my book. I put some, when I show up at the next group ride with my regular road bike, I've got more matches in my book. This bike has the same exact geometry. I've got this bike set up the same exact way, the handlebars and the seat. All the measurements are exactly the same. So when I get off this bike and get on this bike, it's like the same bike. There's no change. I don't have to adapt to it. And that's the reason to have a system, a training system, a system that allows you to recover from previous efforts and grow your book of matches. It's also a great tool for helping your spin, working on your cadence. And that's just something like I discovered riding this bike. I didn't like invest in this half of the system for working on my cadence, but I really noticed how good it is for doing that, and looking forward to showing you all about that. So that's what we got coming for you. A great long-term review on this wildly awesome bike and how to use something like this to make you a better bike rider. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of great content coming for you. And as always, thanks for watching.